New year, new me. Time for a book haul. Hi, everybody. Not me, the type of person who would normally do a book haul, but I thought I would do one. But in doing so, kind of give you an idea of sort of reading plans for the first quarter of the year that we've got here. I've got loads of buddy read schedules, loads of books that I would like to get to, and ones that I definitely have to get to, and some that are even further on beyond than that. Let's start with my Christmas presents, if that makes sense. So the ones that I got from my wife, and I mean, I sort of had my Amazon book wish list for her to pick from, and I just kept throwing stuff on there and kind of not thinking about what I'd put on there. So actually, when I did get some of the stuff, I was like, oh, that's interesting that you would pick that. And the first one that she sent me actually works out quite nice because I agreed to do a buddy read of this. But the buddy read isn't starting until April. And that is book one of The War in Light and Shadow by Jenny Wirtz here. First book, which is Curse and Mystery. Now, classic Amazon. So hopefully you can see the nick that's out of that. Which, you know, I'm not sending it back, but it's not great, obviously. But we have an 800 odd page book here. It'll keep me busy through warm, cold, lonely nights, I suppose, is the way to look at it. So that was the first one that my wife got me. You know, thank you very much and all that. But also to accompany it, she got me another kind of small, you know, that's like 11 book series, isn't it? I think my wife might be looking at divorce or something. I book one on Amazon as well, and I have to say I have absolutely zero intention of starting this anytime soon. Even though, you know, it'll be a nice book. You know, it's only 700 odd pages. That's fine. And I will say that this tiny mass market paperback thing, quite small inside. I don't know if that comes across, but yeah. So Amazon. The other thing that she got me, actually, which is probably a bit more on brand for the other start of the video, is the Tarantino book, the Cinema Speculation book, which goes through, you know, a choice of films and stuff that he talked about in his journey. There you go. The 1972 movie The Getaway has a chapter on, etc. And that'll be great to dig into in terms of, you know, trying to get inspiration for watching films. Not that I have a real problem with finding stuff to watch, but kind of getting the backstory and the detail of the stories that are there and why they're important to somebody like Tarantino, who I think is an interesting enough guy in terms of cinema curation. Moving piles. Oh, God. Let's go on to the stuff that is kind of page-turn linked. So I'll start with, some of you may have seen, we had the Secret Santa, etc. within page tune. And my Secret Santa was Esme. Delighted Esme got me, but she'd got me Voice of War by Zach Argyle, book one of Threadlight. So I have to put this quite high on my TBR because apparently it has a main character called Chris. And, you know, that's my name, and I like my name. So, and it's not massively long, it's only 300 odd pages, which in the big scheme of the books that I have here sitting in front of me is not that long. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And then myself and Steve were doing a bit of bad encouragement for each other in terms of trying to, you know, it's not like we've nothing to read, but encourage each other to pick some series that we'd like to put on the list for this year that we'll get to. And he had got me Blackstone Heart, Michael R. Fletcher. Michael R. Fletcher was sort of in my plans for this year. I think he's a pretty cool cat in terms of being on the streams, and, you know, there's a lot of people who just rave about his output and his content. So actually Blackstone Heart is a pretty good start for that. One thing I'll point out about Blackstone Heart, it has some interesting typefacing in the book itself. So the borders top and bottom, it's kind of old styley, but I like it. That'll be that. And we're trying to do some more graphic novels, etc. He got me volume 1 of Killer to be Killed by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. Very much looking forward to getting into, and not only doing volume 1 of this, but actually heading it a bit further forward, going into volume 2, etc. to go on as well. So his graphic novel series tend to be a bit pulpy, a bit neo-noirish. Very much in the mood for that. In order just to really kill things off and kind of go this whole hog with new me, new reading, whatever, we've got volume 1 of Berserk Deluxe. Now, did I just get this because it's absolutely gorgeous and it had been sitting in my local bookshop forever and ever and ever, and I thought, I really want to know what this leather feels like? No, I did not. That's ridiculous. I got it so that we could kind of start a Berserk read along. Now, I have read volumes 1 and 2 of this on Kindle, so I have made a start in it in some way before I'd gotten this But these editions, I've no idea where I'll put them. I mean, they're enormous, and they've got a real heft and weight. Maybe it's if somebody in the family ends up being bludgeoned to death, they'll not need to go looking too further for the murder weapon. But I mean, that's maybe just because I've been reading a lot of grimdark fantasy at the moment, and I'm probably shouldn't have said that. Aside from that, I have this terrible problem of picking up books that are in the Friday night conversations that I've either been on or I've been watching, and kind of hearing people talk about the books and thinking, God, I'd love to get into that. So in no short order, Peter McLean wasn't on, but everybody talks about this series again and again and again. So we have book one of that, which is Priest of Bones. And then subsequently, on one week, a really, really brilliant chat with Halo Scott was on. And while there's another read along happening of I Will Kill You on the Page Tune forums, I picked up book one of our other series of the Rift Cycle series, which is Edge of the Breach. There, so I'll get my way into that again. It looks like not a long book, but the typeface and that's quite small. Looking very much forward to that. And on the same episode was a book that I hear lots of people rave about, which is H.G. Neill's Curse of the Fallen. Again, Jesus, H. This smaller typeface is here. He's trying to kill me. Not that long. Stop complaining, Chris. But yes, very much looking forward to getting to all of those. And then subsequent to that, well, I used Christmas money, and I don't know if you're like me, but you kind of ask people notoriously are bad about buying geek gifts for me, gifts that I would like. So I would say, if you're stuck, just give me Amazon vouchers. I'll go and spend the money myself. I did exactly that. Now I got a couple of Blu-rays, but I got a couple of books that are with it, and I tried to expand my horizons with this. Kind of buy things, as you've probably seen, a lot of sci-fi fantasy stuff here. I tried to buy stuff that I wouldn't normally get. So the first one that I got was from the Vintage Japan line. Is out Kirono, and you know I wouldn't normally do this, but I'm going to read the blurb of this because I don't know why this gravitated to me quite so much. So in the Tokyo suburbs, 4 women work the graveyard shift at a factory. Burdened with heavy debts, alienated from husbands and children, they all secretly dream of a way out. A young mother among them finally cracks and strangles her philandering, gambling husband. She confesses her crime to her colleagues, and unexpectedly, they agree to help. But then the dismembered body parts are discovered. The police start asking questions, and more dangerous enemies begin to close in. Out is a psychologically taut and unflinching examination of the darkest recesses of the human soul, and what makes the most ordinary person do the unimaginable. I'm starting to worry about myself a little bit. I don't know what it was about that kind of made me think, that sounds good. Other than it's kind of Hitchcockian, Strangers on a Train-ish kind of thing. So that's out from the Vintage Classics line. And then we have, I would say, a lot of things that are sort of read-along-esque. So first one up is Imperium. I actually have started this. I've started to do the audio of it as well because I got that from a library and the Libby account there. This is the first book of the Cicero Trilogy that's going to be a read-along, or is a read-along, on Alan's channel for the first quarter. I'm very much enjoying this early doors so far, but this is terrific. Also on Dom's Discord, historical fiction is the thing that Terry and Nina and the others are really invested into, White Stitch, etc. So they are starting this series, which is Matthew Harvey's Bernicia Trilogy, I think is his name, or Beobrand. It's a Beobrand series, and so book one of that. I'm kind of hoping I can get through these because they're not that long. The font size is quite big. The only problem is, and I've checked this out, if I start buying them on paperback like I am here, they're not all the same cover. This is going to drive me utterly insane, but we'll see what happens with that. And then another read along that I kind of talked myself into is the fact that we're trying to start up a movie club on Page Train, and trying to pick one, and I think I'm going to suggest, or have suggested, and thought it'd be a good idea. It'd be a good idea to do a movie, but also do a book with it that's not too long. And we're going to do Starship Troopers, which is Robert Heinen's sci-fi novel, which I think is a great sci-fi film. I'm interested to see how the book relates to that, because the film's very much a satire on, you know, how bloody stupid war is and all of that kind of stuff, and there's very distinct things to be said about the film, and I'm wanting to see actually if the book does the same thing but in a slightly different way. Interested by that. And last but not least in this pile is a classics book. I have a very good friend that I would like to do something with, and I've been talking about these kind of things for ages, but he has just been espousing how wonderful this book has been, to the point that I can't stop reading it. It's Genera by Charlotte Bronte. Now, I am somebody who thinks that this is always the same story in every single one of these books. However, Genera is a story that I actually really like. I've seen the National Theatre production. We went to see it kind of many years ago, and it absolutely blew my socks off at the time. If anybody's ever in Britain has a chance to see National Theatre production of Genera, I even think it's on YouTube, and if it is, I'll link it down in the description. It is stunning, absolutely stunning. And actually making my way through this book with the help of a friend, Dan, if I can talk him into it, would be pretty amazing. And last but not least, I'm going to talk about 2 pickups that I had in town today, and very much just because our store that does like vinyl, CDs, Blu-rays, that kind of stuff, HMV, has a section in there that's 2 for £7 for many classic paperbacks. 2 for £7. You can't not go in and grab something. And I had, in November-ish, December, read Augustus along with many of Alan's channel, much of Alan's channel, the John Williams epistolary format. Enjoyed it a lot. Had some issues with sort of the form and style of content, and actually the fact that I knew nothing about this world, which I think would have helped an awful lot, but enjoyed it enough to kind of say, well, let's get some more John Williams. And when you're talking 2 for £7, we'll grab Stoner and Butcher's Crossing. You know, Stoner's a book that a lot of people have read this year, talked a lot of great stuff about, and then Butcher's Crossing being the 2 books that they had in the selection, the John Williams, and so they're all part of this vintage Williams line that lines up beautifully. I mean, what's not to like there, eh? So that's my book haul and kind of an idea about my reading plans for the first kind of quarter as we go through here. Anybody read any of these before? Anything that should start before another one? Obviously, some that are committed reads, and some are kind of more open form. Like for instance, I have sitting about here somewhere, God knows, we're still reading Expanse. We're doing the Game of Thrones series. You know, there's plenty of other things going along there that I will continue. I have been doing and will continue to do over the first kind of a lot of months of the year. If you've made it this far, thank you much for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon on the channel. Take care. All the best. Bye.